Hello and welcome to the episode 3 of Interview with a Greyhead. The conversations that will hopefully give you a nugget of information or advice that you can take away and help you in your career. Something that will encourage you to take action, whether that is with a project at work, maybe how you network with people, or to take direct action like getting a new job. This week my guest is Dr Barry Cummings. Barry and I have recently been acquainted through a training course we're both on, and in our mastermind classes I'm always gripped by Barry's contribution. Barry is a professional coach for over 4 decades and has worked in 17 different countries, including the Middle East, for over 25 years. And he is the founder and managing partner of acquainted Business International Consultancies, who work with the current and future business executives on such topics as leadership, teamwork and strategy. I hope you enjoy the conversation and get something out of this, and please like and share this episode within your network. Enjoy. Cheers. Hi Barry, thank you and welcome to Greyhead Gold. As you know, it's a series of interviews I have with people who are very experienced, or as I like to call it, seasoned in their life and their careers. So Barry, before we jump into the questions, can you give the viewers a brief introduction of yourself and then let's get into the questions?
Yeah, happy to do so, Paul, and thanks for inviting me in for a few minutes. As you know, I love answering questions. I'm into my 70s now, so I definitely count as well, not so much a greyhead, as a no-head if it's hair counting. But well, as you know, I've been an engineer, I've been a soldier, I've been an editor, I've been a journalist, I've been all kinds of things all over the world. So my doctorate is in international multicultural leadership. So basically, my background is the world, and I've worked at pretty much every level, from literally rulers of countries down to the latest, newest recruit walking through the door. And so I've got a story to tell, but it's my story. If it helps anyone else, very pleased to do so.
Brilliant, thank you. Right, let's please jump into the questions. I've pre-sent them to you because it would be unfair for just to ask questions, and the idea is 10 questions, 10 answers. So the first one, so for some people, they plan their careers. Maybe they go to uni, they've left school, they realise that they want to do something, they want to go to uni, such as a doctor, for example, and that's a very set out job. You know, that's a very 7 years, I think it takes to become a doctor. So it's a very planned out profession. But for others, quite often, they may have been to uni, but they ended up taking a very different path to what they originally planned, for whatever reason. Did you plan your career, or did you sort of fall into it? And in reflection, what advice would you give on planning your career?
Well, funnily enough, I mean, I threw in the bit about my doctorate because when I was 15, I was thrown out of school with F stamped in my forehead, and the last thing my school said to me was, Cummings, if you stay out of prison, you'll be doing well. So university was the furthest thing from my mind. I now have various pieces of paper from universities around the world tell me I'm not as stupid as they thought I was. So the first point I would make is that the plans I had as a 15 and then 18 and then 20-year-old bear no resemblance to the life I've actually lived. My son went off to university to do a degree in international hospitality, did a year out in Canada being in the market to see which part of the job he really wanted to do. And he came back, and at dinner one evening after he got back, I said, son, so you know what you want to do now? He said, no, Dad, but I know what I don't want to do. And I think that's a message that resonates with a lot of people. And the bottom line for me is follow your interests. It's a hard road, it's a long road, and if you're not doing something you're interested in, man, it can be a difficult road. So my answer to that one, Paul, is follow your interests. The planning, well, you must have heard the old saying, man proposes and God disposes. The older you get, the closer that comes to the truth, I promise you. The truth.
All right. What is your view towards mentorship? Throughout your career, have you had a mentor? And if not, why? And if yes, what was the key value to you? And then sort of adding on to that is, have you yourself mentored anyone? And if yes, what was your experiences of that? So it's all around mentorship, this.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just change the tense if I may, Paul, because I still have a mentor.
Okay.
And I wasn't kidding. I'm 73 next time round, and I still have a mentor. But if I may, I just want to make for me, a really important distinction, and that's between coach and mentor.
Mm.
In my time, I've seen and heard a lot of people lump them in the same bag. And for me, that's bordering on criminal. Because a coach's job, I believe, is to make you the best you can be where you are right now.
Yeah.
But a mentor's job is to say, oi, you're in the wrong place. I don't care how good you are over there. This is where you should be. And if that means jumping off the top of one ladder to the bottom of another, and then having to prove yourself again, well, tough, get on with it. And for me, that's been my attitude to mentorship. I went looking for mentorship when I realized my plan, I'll leave school and do what I want, wasn't actually going to work out. And then I was lucky to meet people who coached me into being a good sports person. And then I joined the military, and I found both a coach and a mentor. And my mentor now, 50 years after that, is still the mentor I had.
Wow.
So for me, a mentor, absolutely imperative.
It's
more
imperative.
so than a coach. You can learn things pretty much yourself if you have to. It's easy to coach, of course. But a mentor, absolutely. And indeed, part of what I do now, at my age, I'm basically semi-retired, and I go looking for people to mentor.
Yeah.
I want, if I possibly can, to leave a legacy of as many people I can, saying, look, whatever you think you know, whatever you think is going to happen, whatever you think you'd like to achieve, just hang on a minute and let me tell you what else might be available to you.
Yeah.
It worked for me.
It worked for you. And are you mentoring anyone at the moment?
Yes, I've got, and I'm talking to you despite the photo in the background of Hong Kong. I'm actually calling you from the Middle East, in the United Arab Emirates. I'm an Arabic speaker. I did a long language course in classical Arabic. So I chose to stay here in the Middle East because it's a young area. The youngsters here are coming out of, 50 years ago, they were Bedouins living in tents. They still have grandparents. And they have got to work in what you and I know as the modern world.
Yeah.
And man, it's a hill to climb.
It's a hill to climb.
I've given my time freely to people who say, look, where am I going? How do I get there?
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. That's good. Okay. Next one then. Throughout your professional life, what values did you live by? And did you consciously and so actively stick by them?
Yes, I did, Paul, because very early on, particularly once I joined the military as an electronics engineer, I was working on equipment that was cutting edge at the time. I got involved in the first research into laser weapons for the British Army, for example. But in the role of a soldier, I deployed 4 times into combat.
Okay.
Really, really, I'd better have the trust of the people around you. The best way you'll earn that trust is to be true to whatever principles you set yourself up for. You want to set yourself up as the bad guy, then be the bad guy. I chose to be the honest guy. If I didn't like it, I told you.
Yeah.
It got me into more trouble than enough. But for me, the ethic is, who are you? Look in that mirror. Nobody's listening, just you looking in the mirror. Now, did you do it the best you could, or did you not? And that's served me well.
Served you well, yeah.
Yeah, it took me 28 years from private soldier to lieutenant colonel.
Yeah, okay.
Deployed 4 times, the final time commanding a special group in the 1991 Gulf War.
Right.
And you don't get through that life. You don't spend that long in that business unless people trust you. So for me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Be ethical and be consistent.
Yeah. It's interesting, as a coach, quite often my clients, they're not quite sure what values they have. So we'll have an exercise around that, what are your values? And we spend many times talking about it. And they feel more, once they know something's not quite right, but they feel more relaxed and they feel more fulfilled inside themselves. Actually, that is my values, and I want to stick by that. So interesting. All right, great. In your career, how would you describe your style? What was your brand? And what were the benefits of that? So we all have different, and I gave you a link to leadership styles. There's about 12 different leadership styles. But what was your brand? I'd love to hear your words around what do you think?
Yeah, and I did actually have a look at the list you gave me. Now, I've been involved in the British Psychological Society for 40 years now.
Yeah.
In psychometrics to help people establish, well, where are they? Because, as you said, quite often people look in the mirror and begin to say, well, who am I? I'm not actually sure who I am.
Yeah.
So I've actually, in my head, I boiled down the branding bit to 5. And the ones you gave me fit in very nicely. But for me, the style was negotiative. Now, it's nothing to do with democracy. It's not a show of hands, right? The eyes taking. No. This is about saying, right, this is what I want doing. This is how I think it should be done. And this is the standard I think you should be done too. And this is the time I think you should take. Now, next. And I'm more than happy to listen. And it saved me some awfully big mishaps. Listening to the new guy in the corner, or the shy guy around there, or the girl who hasn't spoken in 5 meetings. But when they do, they've got something that's really worth listening to. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I'm not directive, I'm not consultative, I'm negotiative. If you can show me a better way, off we go.
Yeah. Okay. So following on from that is, how important do you think it is for someone to have a personal brand in their careers, in their professional life, the way they want to come across? And just as I stated in there, to me, the definition, like many others, a personal brand is a practice of creating a brand around a person rather than the business. And it's used to further a person's position or as an expert within an organization or industry. And it's how people were perceived them. So I accept that person A might not like me, but person B loves me. And they've only just both met me for 5 minutes, So it's how they experience someone. So I'm just curious about your thoughts around that. Did you put time into that, and did you think about that?
I did, because it was really quite simple.
Yeah.
Some long time ago, when Goldman was bringing emotional intelligence, so we're talking 20, 30 years ago, to the world, as it were, based on Saloy and Murphy's work, I realized, and it's something I now use almost as a motto, if you will, and it goes like this: your opinion of me is none of my business. Now, this is not said in arrogance. This is said in the understanding, look, I know who I am. And the brand that, now I don't have a swoosh or a circle with 3 lines in it on the, people trust me. And I know they trust me, and I think I may have mentioned this before to you. In the last 20 plus years, my marketing budget has been 0.
Right.
For the last 20 plus years, every client I've dealt with, and I'm talking rulers of countries, down through CEOs and whatever, every single client has been a referral from a previously satisfied client. And
that can only happen because of your brand.
Now, do I have a logo? Yeah, I have a logo, but I'm not Nike. I'm not Amazon. I'm Dr. Barry. You go and speak to him. You can trust him. You may not like what he says because he's an honest guy, but you trust what he says. And that for me is it. I mean, that is the brand. When you can spend 20 years in business without doing $1 worth of marketing.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. It really is. Brilliant. So next one then, what was the hardest time in your career and what did you learn from that? In hindsight, what action would you have taken to help the situation?
Paul, you sent me these questions, and that one has had me going round in circles since I read it.
Good.
As I said, I was an old-fashioned apprentice mechanical engineer when I left school. Then I spent 20 odd years in the army, being a military guy. Then I set up my own company. Then I came traveling the world. You know my story: Englishman, Chinese wife, son born in Germany, who's married to a Canadian, daughter born in Greece, who's married to and a South African. They live in Australia. I honestly cannot tell you what was the hardest. But what I will tell you is, why did I resign? If I was enjoying life so much, why did I resign my committee? Well, because I could no longer be the kind of soldier that I wanted to be. I got
Okay.
injured in the Gulf War.
Right.
So
Okay.
that was the end of that phase of my life. Mid-40s, big bang, bits falling off, new bits stuck on.
Yeah. Okay.
So for me, the answer, the only thing I keep coming back to, it's hard when I realize that phase is finished.
It's finished. Yeah. Okay.
Hard to be able to say, well, loved it, great, thank you for the experience, goodbye.
But you recognised it and you moved on. Yeah.
It took longer sometimes than others.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There have been times in my life. One of my bosses, he came in one day and said, I think we should take the lads out for some physical training in the afternoon. This was in the tropics. The lads and I did our training at 5 a.m. when it was as cool as
cool. Yeah.
And so I said to this boss, and it wasn't too fine a tone, I'm afraid, not one of my better days. I said, well, let me get this right, boss. You want us to train in the morning in our time because you're too lazy to get up, and you want us to do it in the afternoon when it's the hottest and most humid. I don't. He looked at me and he walked out. And at the end of that particular period, I got a report from my boss's boss about to review my attitude.
Well, you're right in what you're saying.
Yeah, this is the ethics thing coming out. Sometimes you've got to say, and then you take what comes from it. Then people know that you can be trusted.
Yeah, but what I'm taking from that is you don't necessarily have to have a really hard time in your career. Oh. So if you have the right principles, the right values, the right branding around you, then you don't necessarily have to have a hard time. You know, it can play out.
You actually come to I was going to use this as a punchline when we finish passing it to you now. I haven't worked in over 30 years. I haven't done a day's work in over 30 years. You see, about 32 years ago, perhaps a little longer, I decided, sod it.
Yeah.
I'll do what I want.
Yeah. With
who I want to do it, when I feel like doing it. And I swear to you, that's the motto I followed. Having spoken with my mentor, who cuffed me around the head and said, yeah, you're just dumb enough to try it. Yeah. And 30 odd years later, I still tell people that. Look, think of it as a definition of retirement. If you had to define retirement, what is it? Do what you want, when you want, with who you want.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for 30 plus years.
Do that.
How can I have a bad time?
How are you going to have a bad time? And it proves that you've been successful in doing that and following your instinct on that.
I think it has. But again, I would say it isn't. I wish it were all my own work. A wife of nearly 50 years, she's clipped around the ear more than once or twice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But as a mentor, as someone who will listen non-judgmentally, say, you know what, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but you're just dumb enough to try it. Off you go. Sometimes that's a damn sight more effective than, yeah, you're great, you're wonderful, go on, go for it, son.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's misleading.
As misleading. No, that's a fair point.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's going to be Ronaldo. Not everybody's going to be. No. And I think a lot of youngsters nowadays have grown up, particularly the so-called millennial group.
Yeah.
Participation is everything. Well, I'm sorry, but in real life, getting it right is a lot more important.
Is a lot more important, exactly. All right, okay. Moving on then. How important is networking to you? Networking to you, and what approach have you taken?
Yeah, I used to think about going to networking. Networking and politics were, in the early days, closely intertwined in my thinking. It took me a while to realize, no, if you ask someone, are you playing politics? They would invariably say, no. But the fact is, if you're in that situation, you are part of the political field.
Yeah.
So I stopped thinking about politics and just sort of, well, why would I network? What can I offer? What can I gain? And I began to realize that the way to network wasn't to go to networking with a bag of business cards.
Yeah.
It was to go there and say to people, hello, my name's Barry. What do you do? And then listen. Yeah. And then listen to what they said. And then David Grover, one of the psychologists, he invented and used clean language, nothing to do with swear words. But he would talk to a patient or his clients, and then he would only use the words that his patient had used. So the patient and the coach and the therapist were using the same language.
Same language, is reinforcing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you tell me you've got a pain in your shoulder. I don't say, so your scapula is no, I'm in your medical bit. My shoulder hurts, you know.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess that's been what I've done for networking.
Okay.
I know what I can do, but now I've come here to learn, is there anybody here I can help?
Yeah.
And I did that for a while, but then to be honest, I used to be in the local business group. I let that lapse. I haven't been to a networking meeting in a long time, but twice a year, I call my mentor in the UK, just so he can tell me I'm an idiot, have a chat about what used to be.
But it's important to reach out.
I think you have to, whatever you do, whatever you call it, I think you have to have somewhere to reach out to.
Yeah.
Networking is your thing, go for it. But the principle for me for networking, go there to learn what issues they have.
And how you can help. Yeah.
Don't try and sell your snake oil.
No. Okay. How does someone keep progressing upwards in their career? What would be your top advice in doing that? So I originally had this question as leveling up. So really what I mean by that is how does someone keep on going through and progressing upwards? Well, not necessarily upwards, but to where they're satisfactory. Yeah. So someone might be happy staying at a certain level, but they want to progress and learn more and do more.
Well, I'm glad you've shown a distinction there, because the first time I met someone who refused a promotion, I almost fell over.
Yeah.
I'm offering you a promotion. You're going to get another job. You're going to get more money. You're going to get a better title. Hey, you'll get your own office. No, thank you.
Yeah.
And it was a man, a very competent man who deserved to be promoting. I found out later that 2 previous bosses of his had tried the same trick. But guess what? He was good at what he did. He was very good at what he did.
Yeah.
But it wasn't his life.
Yeah.
His life was outside of the office. His life actually was taking kids, underprivileged kids, on a local soccer pitch and kick a ball or hit a ball. His life, his love, his thing that he wanted to do wasn't in the office. He liked the job. He was good at the job. He earned his wages. Very happy. Thank you. I don't want. And that took me aback when I first met him. But I was thinking to myself, that's me. That's my attitude. So everywhere I've grown because I wanted to see what was next.
Okay. Yeah.
Part of this, your opinion of me is none of my business. The other side of that is I, and only I, am responsible for me. Yeah. So if you want to see what it looks like, off you go. And if you fall flat on your face, pick yourself up and do it again. Smarter.
And learn. Yeah. And learn from it. Exactly. Okay. Okay. No, that's good. Sometimes a person can take a stretched assignment, a piece of work with the aim to help their career. So someone just following on from how do they level up, they might think, I'm going to do something, I've been pigeonholed to do X, Y, Z. I'm going to do ABC to try and demonstrate I can do other things. I've got other skills, yeah? What are the pros and cons of doing this? And what action do you think needs to be done to mitigate the cons?
Yeah, this one definitely has a hidden agenda, this offer. And I've sadly seen that. And it was played out with me. Luckily, I had friends who sorted me out. But the problem with stretching someone is where and what and why. And sometimes, and many times, to be fair, the stretch is genuine. Let's give Barry a chance. He talks a good game. Let's see what he can do. That I have no problem. And then if you're smart, you go and talk to as many people as you can, not to steal their ideas, but to work out what I call the road to intelligent failure.
Right, okay.
Some people talk about this as failing fast.
Yeah.
Right, let's do it. Oh, that went wrong now. What did we do wrong? Right, we'll do it again, but this time we won't do that. And I think it's a given. You do nothing in life if you don't make mistakes. Yeah. You've got to make mistakes in order to learn quite often. Yeah. But where I draw the line is when somebody's been given a stretch exercise because they're known to be going to fail. Where somebody set up a pit to prove, see, I told you it was no good. I will not, I never have stud with that. And one of the rollickings I got was when I was told by a colleague at the time, you do realize why they've given that to you. So-and-so. No. And then I got the backstory, and I was being set up.
You're being set up, yeah. That's interesting. I hadn't thought of it like that, but you're right. It can happen. So rather than just saying, I think this guy is rubbish, or this person's rubbish, let's prove it. Let's, then it's not me saying it, it's the facts that are saying it. Yeah. Yeah.
You gave him the chance, and look, you blew it. The fact that all his resources, or you'd say, I mean, I have no problem, and I've done it myself, stretching people to see whether they can, and sometimes they cannot. And then I'll sit them down and say, oh, look, you tried, you did this, but this isn't for you.
Yeah.
And I've never had anyone come looking for me with a baseball bat or anything afterwards. But equally, I've got people who still I keep in touch with who tell me, and if you hadn't done that with me then, I wouldn't be here today. Now that is incredibly gratifying.
That is, so, and I can imagine it would be. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's done right for the right reasons, love it. As long as afterwards. And one of the things I mentioned the British Psychological Society, from the very beginning, whenever a client has asked me, is there any way to measure this person? I say, yeah, there are many tools. And we'll need to do this, this, and this, and then we'll need the feedback session. Oh, that's okay, we'll keep it in HR. Nope. Yeah. Either you let me sit with the person afterwards and give them the feedback.
Yeah.
And I've walked away from more than one contract where they said, oh, no, we want to keep it in-house. That immediately stinks to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of HR are you running where you will not give the person who you've just put through the assessment anything other than your idea of what you think I said?
Yeah. And you're right, that person, if they kept it in-house, they've got their own company agenda, where you as an independent don't have that agenda. You're just honest. You're just, this is how it is. This is the feedback. Yeah. So yeah. All right. So that's a really interesting point, in a sense of think about, if you are given and stretched, to think about what is the purpose and what's the pros and cons and what do I need to do about that. So that's interesting. Yeah. All right. So finally then, what are the gotchas when it comes to careers? What are the biggest mistakes either you have experienced or you've seen? If someone out there watching this, what would your word to be on that? What are the gotchas? Don't do that. Whatever you do, do not do that. Yeah.
Don't do it for the money.
Yeah.
It's the single bit. I have never been so well rewarded since I stopped worrying about being rewarded. And I mean that not just in the financial sense, but looking back on my life.
Yeah.
And Paul, I mean, I'm not from a wealthy family. I grew up with cornflake packets, cardboard in my shoes to try and keep out the snow and that.
Yeah.
Couldn't afford a pair of shoes. So when I say don't go for the money, it's not because I'm from a wealthy family, quite.
Yeah.
And it took me a while. And we're talking I was into my 40s. I finally realized, you're telling everyone to respect you, you're doing what you want to do, you're telling everyone you're being honest and true, and yet here you are searching for another dollar.
Yeah.
And measuring things by their dollar value. And honestly, that's the single biggest gotcha. Now, when you've got a wife, 2 kids, and a mortgage, and you think you'll go and start a business,
and
the wife says, excuse me, mortgage, wife, food on the table, you better be certain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's a balance there then.
There is. Now,
there's practicalities. Yeah,
you've got to pay for food on the table. The kids have got to have shoes. And I'm pleased to say my wife and my kids and my grandkids, they've never gone a day without clothes on their back or food. Yeah. So I've done that. But as I say, it took me a while into my 40s when I suddenly realized I don't have to chase the dollars. I'm given the opportunity. I've earned the opportunity. Yeah. People have me with the opportunity to do what I love.
Okay.
Why are you being greedy about this? Just get on with it. And so to me, that's the single biggest con. It is so attractive. You're 21, you're 22. You may just end up with the latest, I don't know, Ferrari or whatever.
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to be envious. This is human nature.
Yeah.
But just because he somehow got something you haven't,
yes.
if the only reason for you trying to get it is so you've got a bigger one than he has, that's a competition you do not want to get into.
No. Because I can understand it, because it can be quite frustrating. It can, because you might not get there. You might not be able to do it, you know. So, yeah.
Basically, what happens then, and again, I know it's a cliche, but I actually have seen a man who did have this. The cliche is, on their deathbed, no one ever says, I wish I spent more time in the office.
No, exactly.
There was a gentleman that I met 20 odd years ago. He was an advisor to one of the royal sheikhs here.
Okay.
And we were chatting away, and he said, look, Barry, His Highness needs proper guidance. And it's just me and you, he said, and there's no cameras. No, he said, can you give him what he needs? I said, well, his name was Raza. I said, Raza, how many hours do you spend in the office? Well, he said, I'm here 12, 14 hours a day, longer if he needs me. I said, well, why? He said, and he pulled out his wallet and opened this piece of paper. He said, yeah. No one ever said they wish they spent more time in the office. And he laughed. I know this, but I love this man. He said, I love what he's trying to do. I love being what he's looking for. And so the con is don't go for the financial reward, but the pro is where I started, basically.
Yeah, okay.
What you love.
Is do what you love.
Interests you, and do that. You may get a starving artist in the garret sort of thing, or you may get the next jobs. I don't know.
Exactly.
But I've met a lot of people a lot happier being modest.
Yeah.
Being incredibly rich.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just it. And quite often, as I work with clients, is, well, what is it they want? It's a bit soul searching. It's a bit exercises. You know, we go through various assignments and like, what is it you want? And we start to delve a bit deeper into it. So it's a great point. And quite often when I speak to my clients, it is a case of the light bulb moment, and they realise, actually, this is what I want. Yeah, this is what I need to do.
I want to go over there. Everybody's telling me to go over there. At school, I wanted to be a journalist. When I left school, the only job I could get was as an apprentice engineer.
Yeah.
Into my late 30s, what am I? I'm the editor of a military newspaper, writing articles to my heart's content. Karma, the universe works in really
strange ways.
But I promise you, if you make the decision that's right, the universe will rearrange itself.
Yeah.
Remarkable ways to get the chance to be who you think you
want.
And when you reach that, it'll pop you up to the next level.
It will. It does. No, that's been brilliant. Thank you, Barry. That was 10 questions. You gave 10 answers, so that's great. It goes with the theme. I have to say thank you, and hopefully the viewers they'll get something out of this. And as we get comments and information back from the viewers, I'll share that with you. But thanks very much. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Barry.
My pleasure, Paul. And indeed, if there's anyone willing to or wishing to argue, I'm very happy. In the very real sense, if anyone can show that I've wasted the last 72 years, I'll be more than happy to listen. Because I'm certain I've got bigger answers than they've got questions. But no, it's been fun, Paul. And so good luck with this. I wish you every success going forward.
Thank you. Thanks, Barry. Cheers now.
Bye for now.
Hi. So before you go, thanks very much for watching the video. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and you got that nugget of information for you to take forward within your career. If you like what you've seen, please like and share it because it really does help. In the intro video, I talked about taking action. Well, at Two Saints, we offer a career coaching program. The program is designed to help individuals truly learn about themselves, truly have a deeper understanding of their strengths and their weaknesses. It will allow you to make the right goals for you to take forward into your career, to allow you to get that job that you've always wanted, seek that higher salary that you've quite truly deserve. If you think career coaching is something that you'd like to learn more about, follow the link that's on the page, sign up to our webinar, which we run on a Tuesday and a Thursday, which gives you a good overview of the program and why career coaching is good for you. Cheers now. Bye.